Focus on one thing at a time. Hi, I'm Josh and I've just invited some of my friends to my man place, the barber. Can't wait for today's service. We're going to get sorted and groomed and it's going to be awesome. Have you ever bitten off more than you can chew? You feel like you just have too much work, like you'll never manage to finish everything you've got on your plate? Well, that's exactly what this episode is all about. Welcome to this episode of the Josh O'Cock Show with me, Josh O'Cock, and I'm going to start with a quick story. About a month ago, I took on way too much work. It was a Friday night. I had about 32 tasks stacked that needed to be done by Monday. And instead of working through it, I paralyzed. I had like brain paralyzation and I could do nothing. I just looked at this never-ending list and I just broke down. Hold up. Let's stop right there. Let's take a pause for a minute and take a step back. In this story, I've just taken on way too much work. I'm overwhelmed, I'm panicking, I'm in a state of paralyzed mindset, and I have so much to get done. How am I going to get through this? What can I do to get back into my productivity? Now I'm going to share with you some tips for if you're in a similar situation, what you can do to get through it. Create a list. Georgia, my fiance, found me once in the summertime, on the verge of despair. I was sat at my desk, head down, literally on the brink of tears. I had way too much to do and I couldn't do anything. She sat with me, she helped me to create a list, to prioritize it, to see what to do first in order to unlock other things to happen, what could be delegated and what needed to be focused on. That list really gave me power. And as I completed tasks, I crossed them off the list, which made me feel so motivated and pumped for the next task. Focus on one thing at a time. It's very hard to be overwhelmed when you're only focusing on your one most important task. Don't try and tackle everything at once. Just focus on that one thing, get it done and move on to the next. Don't fall into the trap of perfectionism. You need to know the times when good is good enough. Complete the task to your 90% and then send it off for feedback. Perfectionism actually creates more work for yourself, builds up more stress, and you don't get to finish tasks in the right amount of time. You need to learn when to say no. This is something that my mentor Giljan through Up Your Level has really been teaching me about over the last years. Saying no is a very important skill, and I've always been a yes man. One thing he taught me is saying yes to something is saying no to something else. So to avoid getting yourself back into the state of being overwhelmed, learn when to say no and practice saying it. This is one of my biggest tips for both work and life. Now this, I suspect, will be a somewhat unpopular tip, but I'm going to say it anyway. Work weekends and work late nights. If you have too much work to get done, 9 to 5 ain't going to cut it. So you need to put in the extra hustle. You need to outperform the norm to get the job done. I've worked countless weekends and countless late nights. Georgia will testify. And this is really one of the ways I've managed to accomplish more than what's expected of me. Single malt whiskey. I think I inherited this one from my grandfather. Having a bottle of whiskey by me really helps me not feel like I'm working when I'm grinding on the weekends. And it might not be whiskey for you, but find what it is that helps you get through those long nights burning the midnight oil. Take regular breaks. It may seem counterintuitive to take a pause when you have so much work, and it's very tempting to just keep working straight through it. But this actually slows us down, and eventually it will make us less productive, less creative, and more stressed and more overwhelmed. So that brings me to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your feedback. It's been really encouraging and it motivates me to make these as good as possible. Now it's time for me to take a break and to look after myself at my favorite place, my barber shop.